Hi everybody, Elizabeth here, and I would say welcome to the next flip, but today's video is going to be more about my process. And, painted nails for you! This time I chose a lovely coral color. Anyway, and this hand here, not polished. Yep. And after I make this video, this nail polish will come off as well. And this nail is still having a problem. Grow. Anyway, so I wanted to come on and do just sort of a process video, but I don't have the whole fancy schmancy setup to where you can actually see me as I create. And here's the deal with that, because I create when I can. I always say, do what you can when you can. I've just noticed a lot on different groups that I'm on in Facebook, journaling groups or art groups or whatever. And, people have a hard time trying to find the time to journal or, just different things like that. And they get kind of fretful, if they can't do something on a daily basis or, they just lost their mojo, which happens to us all. And so I just wanted to come on and show you kind of how I do it. Hopefully it inspires some of you. If not, that's okay too. But I just wanted to come on and show you how I do my Fobonichi for the most part. And I hope this video doesn't get too long. But this is my new book here that I did. I use Altered Composition books. And excuse me. And this is for the month of July and August. So 2 months fit into each book. At any rate, what I do is I belong to the group Fobonichi Journalers on Facebook, which is an awesome group, and I will link it below. It is a wonderful group of people who are so talented, so encouraging, so supportive. So many different levels of talent, but talent abounds throughout everybody's artwork and pages and their own Fobonichis and their own takes on things, or their own take on things. So it's really a cool group. Check it out. Anyway, this is how I do mine. I print out Felicia Mouse Potato Designs here on YouTube. Puts this page out at the beginning of the month, and it has all the, the prompts on it. It has the daily prompts, the journaling prompt, the sketch it prompt, and things like that on it. So I always keep this handy to know what I'm doing on which day. And then I'm also doing the letter it July, just because I don't do the sketch prompt. I'm just not that big into drawing. Sometimes I draw, sometimes I don't. It just depends. So, and that's one of the great things about the Fobonichi is that it is your journal and you do it the way that you want to do it. You can be more on the artistic side, or you can be more on the journaling side, or you could be a mix of both, or you could use collage or stickers or stamps or whatever you want. So that's what I like about it, is that it's just your journal, however you want to do it. And so at the beginning of the book, I have, let me show you in here. See, I have this, pocket here that I put, and that's where I put my papers. And my other stuff that I keep in here as well is out of my art room. So I can't show you which. I was hoping that I would have brought everything in. But anyway, the other things that I keep in here are different things that I print out, whether they're, memes or positive little cards or whatever the case is, just things that I find online. And so I put those in here in the pocket in case I want to use them. Now, I've said this before in my other videos, that I do not, journal in this every day. It is a process for me. I do it. I do what I can when I can. That's all I can do. So I try not to fret over it. There are times where I'll go a week and there's a bunch of blank pages, and that's okay with me. I don't feel the need to do it every single day. If I have the time, I will work on it. Right now, I'm actually choosing to do this little video today, and I'm actually going to post it today, hopefully, which is odd because usually I'm like so behind. That's my life story. But I've just seen so much on different videos and on the group and things like that. Just, how do you find the time? How do you do it all? Things like that. I am going to say right now, I am not an artist. I do not claim to be an artist. And I don't play one on TV either. So the one thing I do like is being creative. And that's whether it's with paper, with pen, with ink, with paint, it doesn't matter. I just like being creative. So I'm going to go through, I'm not going to do a flip through because I'll do that at a later time, but I want to show you how I do not do things every single day. It's a work in progress. So let's see where I'm at in catching up. Okay. So on this day here, back July 9th, where are we today? We're like, today's the 14th or something. Is that what it is? Yes, today's the 14th. So I'm behind. Oh no, it's okay with me. It's okay. I go back when I have time. So this morning I worked on this page here, which that particular day I had a migraine. But and then I do the sketch it prompt, or not the sketch it, I'm sorry, the letter it July prompt. So there's my lettering for today. And I actually took a break from this morning because my hands weren't working so well, which, in painting my nails before this, it proved a little difficult, but I got it done. Anyway, so this is what I do, like, and I did this morning, okay? I take my list, right? Because I have pages here that are blank. See, Friday, nothing on it. Thursday, nothing on it. And this is from last week. So what I do is I go through my lists, right? And I look for the 9th, and I see that it was a quotables prompt, but I don't think we're doing that anymore. We're going to start doing listing on the 16th from one of the gals in the group. But anyway, the journaling prompt was name one thing you should toss but can't. Okay, now, again, let me explain to you. These prompts and things are not mandatory, I guess, for lack of a better term. They're not mandatory. You can do what you want to do. You don't have to follow any of this if you don't want to do it. If you just happen to like the combination of art and creating things and journaling at the same time, then the Fobonichi is for you because it kind of combines both worlds, which is what I like. And but I do like having the prompts in case I want to use them, and they're fun. So sometimes I journal about what happened that day. Sometimes I use the prompts and I journal about that. Sometimes I journal about my migraine train. So it just all depends. And so anyway, so like for this page here, it was name the one thing you should toss but you don't, right? So I was thinking about that this morning, and I thought, you know what? I had just watched a video about one of the gals on here from Dingley Delification. That's who she is on YouTube. Wonderful site. Check her out as well. Love to see her journal flip throughs. And she was talking about in her last video about how she doesn't necessarily, journal about negativity or when she's down or anything like that. She likes to journal about, other things. She doesn't want to have those types of feelings in her daily journals, which I completely understand. And I try not to do that as well because I do have down days just like everybody. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. And I used to journal about my down days, and then I'd go back and read about them, and I was like, I can't believe you wrote that down, Elizabeth. But now I use my journal and, for positivity, for creative outlet, for, finding the humor in things, just, positive kind of things. So, some people like to journal through their downtimes. I'm not one of them. I used to do that. And like I said, I look back on those journals now and I think, oh, what were you thinking, Excuse me, I'm sorry. And so, with the prompt for this day on Thursday the 9th, I think if there was one thing I would toss, but I just can't seem to, it would be my old journals. Now, again, back to the process of it all. As I'm thinking about these and reading what the prompts are and thinking if that's something that I want to, work with the prompt or whatever, then I search, clip art. I don't care to draw things, so I'd rather just find a picture of it, clip it out, and glue it in, just like I did with the train down here. And then I do my own lettering around it and either talk about it or journal about it or whatever. So I picked this one, and I'm going to cut it out later and put it on the page and then write about, the one thing that I would toss but just can't seem to do, which would be my old journals. So that's what I do. I go through the prompts and I think, okay, what picture can I find that goes with that prompt? Or this one of the bank on one of the days. Let me see where it's at. It was on the 10th, which I haven't done yet, but on the 10th is Allison's 5 on Friday prompt, and I'll show you that. That's what's clipped here in the background. But and then what happened to make you proud of you? And so as I was thinking about that this morning, I thought to myself, okay, Friday we usually go down to the Keys, and I wasn't feeling well at all. And my husband asked if I could go to the bank. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I don't drive very often. I don't like driving. It causes anxiety galore. But that was the one thing I was proud of that day that I did, is I drove by myself, drove to the bank and back. Now, granted, the bank is literally 2 minutes from my house, which is so sad, but nevertheless, I was proud of that moment because I did it and I accomplished something. So as I go through the prompts, and yes, I do go back in time. I don't journal every day, like I said. So I journal what I can when I can. So these are some of the things. I'm going through the prompts and I'm looking these things up, but I'm printing them out, and then I go back and I stick them in. So, like on this day here is Allison's prompt of 5 on Friday. So she gives out a list of 5 things to use on your page. So, and I didn't bring the list in here, I don't think. Oh, darn. Anyway, what it was find a piece of, paper that you haven't used and use that on your page. Find some cutouts to use that you haven't used. Oh, there it is. No, I did print it out. Look at that. I'm prepared for once. Go figure. Yeah, so find some pattern paper that you aren't overly keen on. Now, again, you can interpret these any way you want. And I happen to like this paper, but I was going through my box of stuff, and it's been sitting in there for probably a year, and I think it's so pretty, but I haven't used it. So, so I'm going to use it on this page. And then these cutouts, which I do happen to think are gorgeous, and I got them in Happy Mail a while back, and I've never used them. So the other thing was to use some die cuts or punch outs. Okay, you could use 1 or 2, as many as you like. Unloved washi tape or decorative tape. So I have here 2 washi tapes that I don't use all too often. I like them. I think they're pretty, but I just don't use them that often. So I'll use them on this page. And stickers from your stash, which are these stickers right here. I've had them in my stash forever, and I like them. Don't get me wrong. I like them. But part of this challenge as well is to use up the stuff that you have. So even though this is back last week on Friday, and it's blank now because back on Friday, I wasn't feeling well. So today I'm feeling better. And on subsequent days when I feel better, I have all my stuff clipped right in here. So I know what I'm going to use, and I know the prompt, and I know what I'm going to do. So when I am feeling up to it, I can go back and do my page. Sometimes I put little Post-it notes in here, and that allows me to remember what I've what I did that day, or I collect ephemera like business cards, or we went here to eat, or whatever the case is. And I just stick them in here until the day comes where I feel well enough to sit at my desk and work. So that's how I worked on that. Now, notice how these 2 days, totally blank. It happened over the weekend, and I wasn't feeling well this weekend, but I'm going to get to them. I have no Post-it notes. I do know what we did on Saturday and Sunday, but if I feel like it, or whenever I get back to working on these pages and filling them in, if, you know what, I know that Sunday was a lazy day. I know that for a fact. And Saturday, I know what we did. But even like on Sunday, if it's a lazy day, I just write lazy day and color it in or whatever. I don't fret about what did I do? I didn't put anything on the paper, whatever. I just don't. That's just the way that I am. So I'll get to that when I get to it. Now, yesterday, funny enough, I actually posted what happened yesterday and the prompts and things on that day, which I never do because I rarely have that day's page done on that day, which is okay with me. The prompt was, who's your person, that you would go to that's, that would be there for you on all accounts. And so that's, of course, my big handsome. And then here's my letter at July prompt. We were supposed to write, I was born for this. And so I did that in the lettering, like up there. And then just little tidbits about my day and what we were eating. And then this song, You've Got a Friend, came to my mind yesterday morning when I was thinking about the prompts. So I went ahead and printed it out. Now, I did have the energy to do this page yesterday. And so I went ahead and did it. However, had I not had the energy to do it, I would have collected these things. I would have collected this little meme and I would have printed this out and I just would have stuck it in here with a paper clip to do for later. Now, if you look on this page here, which is today's page, we're supposed to be talking about, or not supposed to be, I shouldn't say that. You can do it or you don't have to do it, whatever. On this day, the prompt is Tangle It Tuesday. So in the gal who does the prompt, her prompt for today was doing a tangle that's, in an owl. And so this owl appealed to me on Google Images. And so I just printed it out. I'm not going to copy it, but I'm just going to use it for reference. So I went ahead and printed it out for this day's page and I'll stick it wherever I stick it. And then one of the prompts was, what's your horoscope for today? And so as I was thinking about that this morning and printing out some of the things that I print out to save for later and stick in when I have the time or the energy, I printed out my horoscope for today, and I'm a Sagittarius. And then over here, I don't know if you can see it, but I have it written out in pencil. My hands tend to shake quite a lot, and so I write out a lot of my stuff in pencil and then just go back over it in pen later. And so there's the beginning of this one. And then I'm also going to write about a quote that I happen to love in the book called The Prince by Machiavelli. And it's about being an archer. And because Sagittarius, that's what Sagittarius is. He is an archer. And I love the quote by Machiavelli about, I'm going to paraphrase it in here, but it's about aiming high. Archers always aim high so that they will be sure to hit their target. And so I remember reading that book to my kids years ago, and I, always told them after that, be like the archer. Be like the archer and aim high, because you're bound to hit your target if you aim high. And so that's it. This is going to be today's page. But like I said, this, I just wanted to come on here and just show you kind of how I do things. I don't do things every day. I go back when I have the time and the energy. I collect things as I go and make sure to have, my prompts here in my book. And I make sure to have, to look through my computer and print out things that I'd like to place in the book, print out, inspirational pieces that I'd like to maybe use in the book or use as inspiration for a drawing that I will do later, possibly. So that's how I do it. I don't do things every day. I don't work in this every day. I do what I can when I can. And so I hope that inspired some of you not to fret over, not working in your journal every day, or you're so far behind that you feel like you're not going to catch up. For me personally, I don't mind being behind. I just don't, because it gives me something to do when I do have the time or when I do have the energy. And so then I take the time out of my day to enjoy the process. And I think that's what's most important about this, is enjoying the process, not making sure that you do every single prompt, not making sure that have drawn, a gallery, painting. But just to have fun with the process and put your thoughts down and combine journaling with all these other different things, that you can do and that the group provides, or other Fauxbonacci groups. There are other groups out there as well. But I just think it's important to note that, it doesn't have to be done every single day if you don't want to. And I know people as well that skip days. If they've gone a week and they haven't written in it, they just say okay and move on. They just move on to when they're ready. I happen to be a person. It's funny because I do have OCD tendencies, but yet I don't do this every single day. But I do like that when I'm all done with it, there will be something on the pages every single day. I just don't happen to do them on that day. Necessarily. Some days I do, some days I don't. It just all depends. So anyway, I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I hope, this helped some of you in some way, shape, or form. And I guess the bottom line is, do what you can when you can, and have fun. Have fun. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. It's just your way. So have a great time with it. And, thanks for sharing your time with me. And I will catch you later, and it will be on a flip. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.